welcome back, guys. Thank you again for watching another video. My name is Nelson Fuentes. This is my YouTube channel, Nelson's Homes. It's also the name of my IG page, Nelson's Homes. So if you guys have not already seen any of my previous videos, today we will be going back to Real Estate Language 101, but this is part 10. So if you haven't seen any of the previous 9 videos, don't worry about it. You do not need to know any of the previous terms to grasp the concept of these terms today. So hopefully, if there's any questions left over, feel free to either message me privately. My number is going to be at the bottom of this video, or feel free to just comment below as well. That's totally fine. All right, so let's get started. First term today for this video is a lease. What is a lease? A lease is a simple contract between a landlord and a tenant, which we will go into in a little bit as well. Basically, this is a contract between them two. This contract states the rental payment amount that the tenant will be making to the landlord. It'll also have written the details or the terms of the contract. For example, the rules and regulations of that specific property, as well as who has access to this property, who are the other potential tenants that will have access to this property, will there be any pets allowed? By rules and regulations, I mean, what are you allowed to do to the property and what are you allowed or not allowed to do at the property? And of course, any way of contact will also be included on that lease contract, as well as the form of payment, because in this day and age you have digital forms of payment as well as you have old school and paying in checks. The next term for this video today is term 2, which is tenant. A tenant is the person who will be occupying that specific property from the landlord, right? And they're typically named in that lease contract. So that's what a tenant is. So hopefully that wasn't a quick explanation, but more so a very simple explanation. A lease is a contract between the tenant and landlord. A tenant is the person who will be occupying the property from the landlord. All right, and their names are usually stated in that lease. Now, next term is a landlord. Who is a landlord? A landlord is the owner of that property from which you are leasing out. All right, so typically the landlord is the person who you will be in contact with, as well. Their name is usually written on that lease. This landlord is typically the person who you would reach out to when it comes to any repairs, any replacements, any damages, or just anything in general that you have a question about when it comes to that property. That's the person who you would reach out to. Typically, that's where the rental payments are made out to as well. So a landlord is pretty much the owner of the property who will be collecting the rental payments from the tenant. All right, so hopefully that's another simple explanation. We got tenant, we got landlord, and we got lease. So now our next term for this video is a property manager. So a property manager is either a person or a company hired by the landlord to manage that specific property. A simple definition, but if you wanted to know what the property manager does or what their job is, pretty much a landlord hires them so that they won't have to do all the hard work that comes with being a landlord. So like, for example, qualifying any tenants or potential tenants, collecting rental payments, coordinating with any plumber, electrician, or structural engineer, anything like that. Pretty much a landlord doesn't want to either deal with it, or they want to leverage a certain aspect of being a landlord, so they go ahead and hire a property management company, so that way they don't have too many things to worry about on their end. Of course, this comes with a fee, so a landlord would have to pay a property manager to manage that property, or a property management company to manage that property. So that is what a property manager is. Why would you want to get one? To save time, save money, as well as possibly save any headaches that you may have with any bad tenants. So that's why a lot of people tend to hire property managers until they get enough experience to the point where they can do it themselves. So that is what a property manager is. Now we have covered lease, landlord, tenant, property manager. So now our next and final term for this video is lease option. a lease option is essentially a lease contract, but with the option for the tenant to purchase the property if, of course, they're financially able to do so, and if they want to, right? So a lease option is basically a lease contract that a tenant would sign with a landlord saying that they're going to be leasing this property for a certain amount of time, but at the end of this contract and at the end of these terms, this potential tenant has the ability to purchase the property if they want to. Of course, if they're financially able to do so from the landlord at that point in time. That is basically the definition of a lease option or a lease option contract, as what it's also known as. So those are the 5 terms for today. We covered tenant, landlord, lease, we covered property manager, and we covered a lease option contract. So I hope you guys learned something new today. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. As well, follow me and share this video with any friends or family. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm also on Instagram, Nelson's Homes. And again, thank you guys for watching. See you.